Om. Om Namo Bhagavate Sri Aurobindaya. Om Anandamayi, Om Chaitanyamayi, Om Satyamayi, Om Paramayi. Prayers and Meditations by the Mother. December 30th, 1916. Why, O Lord, does my heart seems to me to be so cold and dry? I feel, I see my soul living deep within my being, and my soul sees Thee, recognizes Thee, and loves Thee in all things, in everything that is. It is fully conscious of this, and as the outer being is surrendered to it, it too is conscious. The mind knows and never forgets. The purified vital being no longer has any attractions and repulsions, and more does it taste of the joy of Thy presence in all things and always. But the heart seems to have fallen asleep in a slumber of exhaustion, and the soul no longer finds sufficient activity within it to respond fully to its impulsion. Why? Was it so poor that the struggle could thus wear it out, or so deeply wounded that it has become quite stiff, and yet it would like to answer the inner call? It wants this with a faith and order which have never wavered, but it is like an old man smiling benevolently at the games of youth, but unable to take part in them. And yet it is full of joy and confidence. It overflows with gratitude for all the treasures of affection which nature has so generously lavished upon it. It would like, in exchange for these precious gifts, to pour out inexhaustible streams the golden wine of tenderness, which restores and fortifies, enlivens and consoles, the true wine of life for human beings. It would like to and tries. But how poor is what it does beside what it dreams of doing, how mediocre what it is able to do beside what it hopes, for it hopes always. It knows that thy call is never heard in vain, and it has no doubt it can one day realize the splendors of which thou hast given it a glimpse. Who will open these closed floodgates? My heart loves in its human way, and in its human way it seems to me it loves with strength, constancy, and purity. But thou wouldst have it love divinely in a boundless unfolding of thy sovereign power, and this remains yet unrealized for it. Who will open these closed floodgates? Sri Aurobindo's The Synthesis of Yoga, Chapter 25, The Higher and the Lower Knowledge. We have now completed our view of the path of knowledge and seen to what it leads. First, the end of yoga of knowledge is God possession. It is to possess God and be possessed by Him through consciousness, through identification, through reflection of the divine reality. But not merely in some abstraction away from our present existence, but here also. Therefore, to possess the divine in himself, the divine in the world, the divine within, the divine in all things and all beings. It is to possess oneness with God, and through that to possess also oneness with the universal, with the cosmos and all existences. Therefore, to possess the infinite diversity also in the oneness, but on the basis of oneness and not on the basis of division. It is to possess God in His personality and His impersonality. It is to possess God in His personality and His impersonality, in His purity, free from qualities, and in His infinite qualities, in time and beyond time, in His action and in His silence, in the finite and in the infinite. It is to possess Him not only in pure self, but in all self. Not only in self, but in nature. Not only in spirit, but in supermind, mind, life, and body. To possess Him with the spirit, with the mind, with the vital, and the physical consciousness. And it is again for all these to be possessed by Him, so that our whole being is one with Him, full of Him, governed and driven by Him. It is, since God is oneness, for our physical consciousness to be one with the soul and the nature of the material universe, for our life to be one with all life, for our mind to be one with universal mind, for our spirit to be identified with the universal spirit. It is to merge in Him in the absolute and find Him in all relations. Sri Aurobindo. Questions and answers. November 1956 to November 1962. God has made the world a field of battle and filled it with the trampling of combatants and cries of great wrestle and struggle. Would you filch His peace without paying the price He has fixed for it? Distrust a perfect seeming success, but when having succeeded thou findest still much to do, rejoice and go forward, for the labor is long before the real perfection. There is no more benumbing error than to mistake a stage for the goal, or to linger too long in a resting place. Sri Aurobindo, Thoughts and Glimpses. Mother. Sri Aurobindo writes here to put us on our guard against whatever there is in human nature, inert, heavy, lazy, easily satisfied, enemy of effort. How often does one meet in life people who turn pacifist because they are afraid of fighting, people who yearn for rest even before they have won it, who are contented with a little progress, making of it in their elimination and desire a marvelous realization, so that they may legitimately stop on the way. In ordinary life, it is so much like this. Fundamentally, that is how the bourgeois ideal, that which has besotted humanity, made it what it is now, Work so long as you are young, accumulate wealth and honor, be provident, lay by, make up a capital, become an official, so that when you are 40 years old, you may sit down, enjoy your income, and later on your pension. Enjoy, as one says, a well earned rest. To sit down, to halt on the way, no longer to advance, to sleep, to go down before time to the tomb, stop living the motive for life's existence, to sit down, to move no more. The moment you cease to advance, you fall back. From the moment you are satisfied and aspire no longer, you begin to die. Life is movement, life is effort. It is marching forward, scaling the mountain, climbing toward future revelations and realizations. Nothing is more dangerous than wanting to rest. It is in action, in effort, in forward march that you must find rest. The true rest that comes from a total trust in the divine grace, the absence of desires, the victory over egoism. The true rest is in widening, universalizing the consciousness. The true rest is in widening, universalizing the consciousness. Be vast as the world, and you will always be in rest. In the midst of action, in the midst of battle, in the midst of effort, you will have the rest of infinity and eternity. We read Savitri, Book 3, the Book of the Divine Mother, page 316, Canto 2, the Adoration of the Divine Mother. 315. A word is spoken, or a light is shown. A moment sees the ages toil to express. So flashing out of the timeless leap the worlds. An eternal instant is the cause of the years. All he had done was to prepare a field. His small beginnings asked for mighty end. For all that he had been must now new shape in him her joy to embody, to enshrine her beauty and greatness in his house of life. But now his being was too wide for self. His heart's demand had grown immeasurable. His single freedom could not satisfy her light, her bliss, he asks for earth and men. But vain are human power and human love to break earth's seal of ignorance and death. Is nature's might seem now an infant's grasp? Heaven is too high for outstretched hands to seize. The light comes not by struggle or by thought. This light comes not by struggle or by thought. In the mind's silence, the transcendent acts, and the hushed heart hears the unuttered word. A vast surrender was his only strength. A power that lives upon the heights must act. Bring into life's closed room the immortal's air, and fill the finite with the infinite. All that denies must be torn out and slain, and crushed the many longings for whose sake we lose the one for whom our lives were made. Now other claims had hushed in him their cry. Only he longed to draw her presence and power into his heart and mind and breathing frame. Only he yearned to call forever down her healing touch of love and truth and joy into the darkness of the suffering world. His soul was freed and given to her alone. The spiritual significance of flowers, the mother. Radiation of the manifestation. The divine manifestation is spreading. Each time we try not to be ordinary men, not to live the ordinary life, to express in our movements, our actions and reactions the divine truth. When we are governed by that truth instead of being governed by general ignorance, we are apprentice supermen. And according to the success of our efforts, well, we are more or less able apprentices, more or less advanced on the way. The mother. To live only for the divine. This means to have overcome all the difficulties of individual life. We are united towards the same goal and for the same accomplishment, for a work unique and new, that the divine grace has given us to accomplish. I hope that more and more you will understand the exceptional importance of this work, and that you will feel in yourselves the sublime joy that the accomplishment will give you. The divine force is with you. Feel its presence. more and more, and be careful never to betray it. Feel, wish, act that you may be new beings for the realization of a new world. And for this my blessing shall always be with you. Some give the soul to the divine, some their life, some offer their work, some their money. A few consecrate all of themselves and all they have, soul, life, work, wealth. These are the true children of God, the Mother. Gratitude prayer. The Mother, 15th August 2018 Blessing Card. This evening, I would like us to meditate on the remembrance of Sri Aurobindo, on the way to keep it alive in us, and on the gratitude we owe him for all that he has done and is still doing in his ever luminous, living, and active consciousness for this great realization, which he came not only to announce to the earth, but also to realize, and which he continues to realize. Tomorrow is the anniversary of his birth, an eternal birth in the history of the universe. The Mother. Victory to Sweet Mother. Thank you. Thanks each one of you with utmost gratitude for being part of Purna Kalvi, and continue your participation for the divine consciousness, truth and love to spread across the globe and everywhere in all beings and our friends, relatives and family. Thank you.